Today's episode, we are welcoming Kim Lindgren, who is the J18 head coach from Saltjobaden in Stockholm. Welcome to Swedish Junior Hockey Podcast.
Thank you, Jacob. I'm proud to be here.
This episode is brought to you by Scandlux, your home for Scandinavian luxury products for the U.S. market. You can find us at scandlux.com.
So we chatted a little bit before I hit the record button, but and tell everybody, where are you sitting today? I know you were swatting flies, but you were on vacation somewhere.
Yeah, I'm on vacation at our summer home in the beautiful island of Gotland. So we are enjoying some vacation and sun and taking trips down to the ocean and just enjoying life.
And where is Gotland for those who don't? So every episode, I'm having a geography lesson as part of hockey discussion. So where is Gotland?
Okay, now I'm going to say right, I hope. West of Sweden, so to speak. There's a big island.
East of Sweden.
East of Sweden, yes, east of Sweden.
The biggest...
Closer to Russia, so we're... Yeah.
So the biggest island in Sweden, but Saltsjobaden is not. So everybody that is now getting the Google Maps out, first of all, the North American listener is not going to be able to spell Saltsjobaden.
No.
And
so it's Saltis.
Yeah. So people call it Saltis, but where is Saltsjobaden and what's it close to?
Yeah, Saltjobaden is in Stockholm. Suburbs of Stockholm, and I think it's east of Stockholm too. So, beautiful place, and pretty
right on the water.
Yeah, close to water. So it's a rich part of town, so to speak. Yeah. Good people.
So the reason, so you and I, we kind of connected on LinkedIn a little bit, and like we talked about before, there's two things that I thought would be really, really interesting for people to hear, and that is, you know, being a junior coach in a metropolitan area like Stockholm, which is going to be different than a small town that we've had some people in, and the experience of coaching youth to juniors in Stockholm. But the other part is, and hopefully we'll get there, is going to be the kind of the mental side of, since you've coached both youth and kind of followed a specific age of players, you know, the psyche of the Swedish junior player and how that may, you know, the common threads in there. So tell everybody first about you as a player and your experience and how you got into coaching.
So I was a decent player, had good speed, good passing skills, couldn't shoot, but still can. So I focused on passing. And I think if I had learned when I was little kid that it takes more hard work, probably could have made it a bit further than I did. But I got several concussions and quit the game. So I was pretty bummed about that. And our general manager in my club, Farsta, asked me if I wanted to coach. And like, yeah, I love hockey, so let's go for it. And I started with U12s. And I think that was really good for me because U12 is more hard to coach than J18. So because they are not ready at all, and you have to be really learn out well how to speak to kids. And my first training, I made a normal A side team drill, and just figured no, they can't do this. So I had to take away all the passes, just do a crossover and get a puck and score. So that's where I started, and I followed that team for 3 years. Then I switched to a little better side, Värmdö. which they had a really good squad. So we went up to the 8th year there, and they have actually 2 guys now in the U16 national team. So was pretty impressive to coach them. And when you say the mental aspect, they do the hard work. They train hard. They go hard. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much all you have to do, because go hard and train hard.
So
And then I thought about staying there for a few years, but I got an offer from Djurgården, and couldn't say no to that. So I went to Djurgården U15s, which is
was 2006 birth year, right?
Yeah, 06, yes. It was a great year, but COVID came, so we paused the season, and we really thought we would go really well, but yeah, COVID did what it did, so everything paused, and we just trained. And I can it was when we did small games in the end of the training pass, it was super fierce and super competitive. I've never seen anything like it, so every trainer had to calm them down, because otherwise they would get injured, because we didn't have any games, so couldn't get out the aggression. It was really fun.
Wow.
And then I got my daughter, so I thought I can't be in the rink 6 times a day. So I got an offer from Saltjobaden J18, and it was perfect for me. Less time, a little bit more money, and all the kids. So it was a good year ahead.
So let's take this back a little bit to the landscape, so to speak, in Stockholm, because it's such a big city, the biggest city in Sweden, and hockey it's a big sport in Stockholm. So how you have a little bit of mixture of big clubs and small clubs, right?
Yeah.
So how's it divided? Because the region, I know when we're talking about like when I was just talking to Nicola from Skåne, he was involved in the Team Skåne, which is all of Skåne, but there's only 4 or 5 clubs down there.
Yeah.
I'm saying 4 or 5. There's a lot more, but there's, when it comes to the bigger clubs or even medium-sized clubs, but Stockholm has their own region for TV puck, Stockholm North and Stockholm South.
Yeah.
I think it's divided into 2.
Yeah. And they usually meet each other in finals. So
well, unless Dalarna is there, of course.
Yeah. Oh, Gothenburg, also good squad.
Yeah. But
I can say,
which ones are the big clubs?
Yeah. Without the small clubs, the big clubs couldn't get any good players. Is my perspective of it.
So which ones are the big clubs? You mentioned Djurgården has always been an established.
Yeah, Djurgården, AIK. You have Täby now, which have begun. They are really elite. They're really good. Get a lot of players out there too. And you have like Huddinge was big when I was a small kid, but they have gone down a bit. Hammarby same gone, but Nacka is rising, especially in juniors. They're good, and there are a few Almtuna close by clubs like SE, good junior squad.
Södertälje?
Södertälje is good. Is good. They have a lot of more from the south too. They don't from Stockholm, so it's like they take all south of Stockholm, go to Södertälje because it's closer. So, but they have also made really good players like Lekkerimäki now, Noah Östlund, and those guys. They went to Djurgården in J18 or U16, but it was Södertälje that's made them.
So which teams in Stockholm are playing J20 National?
Almtuna, AIK,
Djurgården.
they started regular. I don't know what I think it's regular, and then you mix it up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like Tyresö can come up there sometimes, up and downs, you know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of clubs.
But I think it's interesting, and I'd like to hear your opinion on this too, and that is, you know, for the first time probably ever, there's not a Stockholm Metro team in the SHL.
Yeah.
And so guys like Östlund and Leckermäki that just got drafted in the first round, I mean, they were top prospects in the world.
Yeah.
How has that affected them? Maybe not in a negative way, that they got more exposure and more playing time than if they would have been an SHL team.
Yeah, I think you have a good point. There will be, I think, in a few months there will be key players in Allsvenskan.
Yeah.
Because they are really talented players. So I think, and you have seen Leckermäki, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be new Ovechkin. He and Elias Pettersson. I'm gonna enjoy seeing that. So yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
he's really good.
All right. So, but then there's also the second tier. So you have the top tier, both in the adults, in either in SHL and Allsvenskan.
Yeah.
But then there's, just like in the adults, you have Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, but also in juniors you have. Yeah. So you mentioned Södertälje is a big, attractive place, and then you have Djurgården and AIK that may be the funnel where the junior players want to go to.
Yeah.
And then you have the second tier, so that play J18 region or J18 Division 1.
Yeah. I can say it's good that we have so many clubs in Stockholm because we have so many players. Like we have players now that for sure can play region, but they maybe pick Division 1 because they have fun, and they maybe not be ready to do the extra hard work. But hopefully we can teach them to do that. So
yeah,
that's our in Saltjobaden. We want to be a step-taking club. You know, like you go here, you learn how to play hockey, and you go to region or higher.
Yeah,
they may go to college in US.
Yeah, it's kind of a flow through instead of a destination.
Yeah. So, for now.
Yeah, no, of course. So how also is Saltjobaden associated with a gymnasium for school? So it's completely independent.
Yes.
So
no NU, EU, NIU, what do you call it?
Yeah, NIU.
Yeah, NIU. Yeah.
But they
nothing like that. It's only hockey.
But they are going to school, most of them.
Yes, but it's not associated with hockey. So they go to school and play hockey.
Okay.
So that's good that exists too. So
yeah,
you don't have to go to gymnasium, high school with hockey direction. You can go, like, I know a few kids in my team that go business school. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they play hockey with me. So we had a really good year. We had really fun.
Yeah, it's amazing. So let's go backwards a little bit. Because working with U12s here in the US, U12s are called Peewees. So you have Peewees, Bantams, and U16s and midgets, or minor midgets and major midgets. I think they're going away with the words or the names, but they will never go away. People will always be squirts, Peewees, Bantams.
Yeah, of course. It's the sand in the walls.
Yeah, but I think it's interesting that you've taken that path and you've had that experience, and not everybody that are coaching have had that experience. But walk us through kind of the chase. When do they start thinking about TV puck tournament?
Yeah, they think they think changing the team early, like when you're 13 or 14, is going to give you some advantage. But I know the scouts that do for TV puck, and they don't go for that. They go for your skill set and how you are as a person. They don't go which team you're in.
Yeah.
So it's really, really all up to you. And Stockholm goes crazy when on the transfer market, even though we have some deals that we're not supposed to hunt each other's players, but we do. And that's sad because you can grow in your own club, in the small clubs, which is, I think, sometimes it's really positive to be in a small club. Like I know a kid I think is going to go top 10, and he was enforced he played with 2 years older guys, and he got to train however much he wanted because he loved just training hockey. So, and he played for 06 and 05, even though he's 07. So he doesn't get that in any other clubs, the big clubs, because they have more like you're gonna play in your age or one up, not go all up and down or so. The quantity he got was really a good for him. For example.
So who drives that? Who drives the chasing of the players, the transfer, the hopper, so to speak? Is that the player?
Yeah, often the players and their parents.
The parents.
The parents especially, because the players almost always have fun in their clubs, but the parents is thinking that it's a plus to be in the big clubs, even though I disagree. I think you need the small clubs, and you can tell by looking at AIK, Djurgården, every big clubs in Stockholm that it's not their start youth team is not Djurgården and AIK. It's the small clubs that made them, but they refine them really well. But it's a they refine them, not make them the good player they are, I think.
So I'm curious so TV puck tournament is for players that are 15, right?
Yes.
So the group that you coached, the 06s, last year,
they were heading in TV puck, yeah.
So at what point do they start thinking, or are they starting to do the selection? So they are 14.
Yeah.
When they're being selected, and then they get narrowed down.
Exactly. They start to scout them in the beginning of the season. They start to scout them. And they scout them hard and pick them. And then we have what do you call them? You can show off your stuff. You have a day that everyone can come from. Every
tryout. So you have a tryout.
And but usually I think the manager coach he knows what he wants. But some people can surprise him. So I've seen that too. So I think it's good that everyone can show up their stuff and like here I am.
But what we're talking about here is maybe 2 teams from Stockholm Metro.
Yeah.
So let's say 40 out of hundreds of players, and the needle, the eye of the needle is very small. The funnel gets very narrow, and most players are not going to make it.
No.
And you have seen that chase, and how does that? Let's talk a little bit about the mentality even early on.
Mm.
The drop off of players that says, "Oh, I didn't make it to the TV puck tournament, so I am now done."
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, that actually does that. But I would say majority doesn't do that. They go and start training. But like you said, the mental attributes of that is that they can slow down and don't do the hard work because they think it's over, but it's not. You just have to take the next step.
So the next step in the in the development, because what we're really talking about here is the youth hockey moving into, okay, you got a big timeline here at TV Puck tournament where and now you start getting into selections for U15 national team, U16 national team, U17, U18 national team, the cream of the crop. But for, okay, the kids now, so the 06s from last year is a good example where they may or may not been part of the chase for the TV Puck tournament for their region. But the big next step is I just graduated 9th grade and I've got the big decision of gymnasium.
Yeah.
So the chase there, the same chase of TV Puck tournament, the next big step is going to be trying to make an NIU major gymnasium program.
And NIU really want the top players. So I know a few players now from Stockholm that move up to Luleå and Leksand and so on. So, but Stockholm, like Djurgården, try not to take any outside the country. They want Stockholm guys to have, so they don't steal because we have so many players. So that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's a guy in Leksand who's he's from Stockholm, I believe. Chumma.
Yeah, I trained his son last year. When I was in Djurgården, I trained his son.
Victor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so my son will be playing against Victor this fall.
Okay.
And I know he's a talent. He's got 2 brothers have done pretty well.
Yeah, one got drafted this year, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah. Victor is a great guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying a little bit facetious. I think he has certainly been, Thomas Johansson certainly have put his mark not only in Djurgården and the success that they've had there, but certainly in Leksand and provided a philosophy and a calm and something that permeates through the entire organization all the way down into the youth.
He's a humble guy. I really like him. We had a few talks when I was in Djurgården. He's a really good guy. So I think he's doing a great job, and I wouldn't expect less because he's good at what he does. Yeah.
No, and I think that's he's a great example of the right type of thinking and as a general manager, but also the bigger picture of, what are we trying to do? And
in the long run, yes.
In the long run, and there's no shortcuts, and he certainly have been there as a player as well.
Yeah.
So so not everybody make it to the NIUs, but then some go the LIU. So the mental aspects of, walk us through a little bit of the what you see. You see some that they get it. You mentioned the 07 players, that the player that you mentioned that has the work ethic to make it. What are if you were to categorize different players from your let's say your U15 team, how many different types of, and how would you label them? You have the high achiever, you have got the guy that just shows up.
Yeah, it's hard. You have like 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 guys that really want to make it. They do really, really hard work, and they want to do more hard work all the time. They just get it for their own sake. They want to be better all the time. So my first and best category is be better all the time. They just want to be better. They don't care if they're best or not, but they want to be better all the time. they don't compare themselves so much. Now we have those that can be called a late bloomer, because I see so much potential, but they're just not getting it out of the system now. But I can see they will be great hockey players. But that is when, like you said, don't give up, or just keep pushing and do the hard work, and you will succeed. And then we have the guys that even in your garden that doesn't do the hard work, and like sit back in the row and do one push up less, those guys. So 3 tiers, I would say.
Yeah.
It's in Djurgården, then it's in smaller clubs, it's 7 tiers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
so and the talent of the player may or may not be following those tiers.
Yeah, exactly.
You may have a very talented player that is in the 3rd tier when it comes to work ethic.
Yeah.
So which ones what happens to the tier 1 guy? May not have the highest talent, but is outworking. So if you were to describe this kid, you would say hardest working guy in the room. He may be one that will make it to an NIU, or maybe not.
Yeah, we had a guy that actually was wise, because we had a exit talk we call it, and exit talk is talk in the ending of the season. And I'm like, how do you think about NIU? And like, he didn't want to go to a big club. He wanted to go to where he got the most playing time. So I really like that answer. I said, that's good choice, because if you don't get ice time, you don't develop. So you can't just train all the time. You have to.
So how do you see your role as the? And I'm curious how you've developed from being a U12 coach to U13, U14, and you've kind of grown up with these guys, some of the same kids, but also different kids. How have sure, being a player and knowing the X's and the O's, how much of that is the important part for you as the leader, as the coach?
I think it's very important, because all I'm trying to do is make them figure out by themselves that it's on I can't make you play better or train harder. You have to do it on yourself. And so I just try to make them realize that it's up to them, because I can say how much I want, but if you don't listen,
And what's the key to that from your perspective? What's the magic pixie dust to get them to understand what you want them to do?
Show them what I mean, or just like point all the time to small feedback, like, hey, have you think about that? Have you thought about that? What do you think about that? Not do that to do it, but what do you think about that? Well, how can you do it better? Like really try to refine them. Not because when I teach hockey, I give them options, not directions. If you know what I mean, you got, like, if you got the puck behind the goal, what can you do? You have 3 options. You can do this, or that. It's your choice. So that's how I teach hockey. And
so even at a small club like Saltjobaden, what technology is at your disposal? I'm assuming you don't have a big coaching staff.
No, I'm alone.
You're alone.
Yeah, I just have my what do you call lagledare?
So your team manager,
Team manager, so that's different from you. We were 2 there, so they had like detailed back forward drills and defender drills, and I can do that because I don't trust them, the guys over there, to do that right. So I have to have like flow drills. I have to flow all the time, and but that works for my system of hockey. I want to go from point A to B as fast as possible, and I don't want to be in the defense zone. So that's my so.
So are you more of a demonstrate, or do you use the board a lot on the wall?
Both. I usually go and do the drills myself, so I can be and show this is how much speed you can use, because I'm faster than at the moment. But they will grow up and go past me. But so I can do it faster, and they see that and like, oh, I can do that too. So and I always try to push them to grow faster, even though it might be possible. Because if you watch NHL like 10 years ago, it's looking really slow compared to today. So how do you think it's going to be in 10 years now? So
yeah. What about other technology? Do you utilize video or anything?
We have. I'm gonna do that this season more because I have more time now. But we have Svensk Hockey TV. Svenskhockey.tv. Great site. AI robot is filming all our games. So I actually now on my vacation I'm doing cutting scenes so I can show them how to press, how I would like to press, and how to attack or defend. So, and it's a YouTube generation, so you have to follow them. So
yeah, and I was curious about that too, in terms of the auditory versus the visual learner, and the auditory learner is becoming less and less.
Yeah, I'm not auditory either, so I like to do it or see it. So I try to teach out all three ways, like of 4 or 5 ways. I try to do everything, like push in that right direction, you know. But
I just thought about this, and I recollect kind of back when I was playing as a kid, and how much of that was a big deal for me. And that was, I never wanted to be the first guy in line, because the coaches that I had explained auditory, and they said, do this, do this, do this. And I never got it. And I always felt bad. And so I always got in the back of the line so I could watch, and then I figured it out. Some would probably say you still didn't know it, but
I hear it, because my coaches draw at least, so I could stand first because then I learned. But I had an assistant trainer in Forsta that said, "Oh, we have to do this drill and do like this and this." I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see it. But when he draw it, oh, okay, that was easy. Yeah. So I can't learn auditory.
Yeah, my coaches, they never had a whiteboard ever in the locker room or on the ice. So it was really, really difficult for me. But I think that what you're talking about there is the key really is knowing your strengths and what works for you and your team, and then also being able to dial into their the generation of players that you're coaching, that makes them get it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you feel good.
No.
What matters is, are they getting it?
It's good to have an easy system too, I think, because I had, when I come to Saltis, it was pretty uneducated guys. So I signed on without knowing anything about the sport. I thought it was just going to be fun because it suited my life so good. So when I came there, I'd like do a drill, and so this is going to be a problem, but we worked it out. And all our training matches before the season, we lost everyone with 7-2. And all I saw was there was some individual mistake, not team mistake. So we had pretty good game. So I said to them, we're going to laugh at this at the end of the season. And we did, because we went to almost qualified to region. So it was, We about the mental side, we got a guy from Djurgården that was tired of NIU. So he didn't want to do like 9 times a week with going to Gothenburg to play or stuff like that. So he said, I don't want to be a professional hockey player. Okay, come to us and have fun. And when he came, he is 2 dimensions above everyone else. He's so good. And all of a sudden, all the players felt they were good. They just didn't know it because they didn't have the confidence. But when he came, everyone got good. And we started winning a lot. So it's all about mental side. That's how I try to learn out, but teach out. So
Yeah. So find that one guy is the key,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But everyone is almost as good, but they just don't think they are. So and now we are. I think this year we might have I'm not going to jinx it, but we're going to go well. I think because the 05s I have know how to play now, and the 06 are coming up with skills and speed. So
kind of wrapping it up, how have you grown as a coach from when you started with the U12s? You kind of mentioned in when we were chatting before that this group or J18 has been the most fun ever.
Yeah.
You said I've only coached J18 1 year, but it's been the best year ever.
Yeah. And everyone thought I was crazy quitting Djurgården, but Djurgården was awesome. Really good place. There's more. They have their system, and I'm not ready to just take one system. I want to make it out myself, So when I come to Saltis and we how we're gonna teach these guys, and we had so much fun from being a quote unquote loser team, because Saltis has always been a loser team, but now we started winning and they felt good and we had so much fun. And so we trying to make a new, how do you say, a
new culture.
Yeah, new culture. Thank you. Yeah, new culture. We are not going to be a loser team. We're going to be a contender to going up to the region. Not maybe this year or next year, but maybe start a culture. That's the most important.
Stockholm,
yeah.
Stockholm youth hockey or Stockholm junior hockey's Ted Lasso.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Kim Lindgren.
yeah. I hope so. I know. My main goal is to work with it, so I hope someday I'm gonna work full time with hockey. So that's my goal, because then I don't have to work another day in my life. So that's good. Yeah. I don't want to work 7 to 8. I want to work on the nights with the game night, and it's more fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for jumping on this on your vacation, swatting your flies in Gotland. And it's been enlightening to talking about kind of your journey is somewhat different, but I think a lot of people can empathize and follow the path that you're on and realize that it may be a youth player that is listening to this that may say, all right, maybe going to an NIU isn't everything. Or maybe that's where I want to go. Maybe there's a coach out there that gets inspired to say, maybe I want to do what Kim was doing, and that's taking a quote unquote loser team, but want to develop and also work hard to put the time in rather than conform to a specific system. There's really no right or wrong, right?
No, it isn't. No. And I just especially in Stockholm, if we didn't have the small clubs, we wouldn't have great players either. So because they are really good, the small clubs too, and they all try their hardest to make players for the big clubs. So that's
And I hope for the North American listener that they get a good understanding of the landscape of the small clubs versus the big clubs, the U14, U15, U16 going into gymnasium, going into J18, going into J20, and the differences and the nuances, and how important it is to have options for the type of player and the type of person out there. And
yeah. And we had a guy this year that scored 30 goals or more. 30 goals in second series and like 14, 15 in first. So he made he made some noise. And they're starting to like Flemingsberg or Nacka, I think, is trying to sign him in J20 now. So now, or he might be thinking about college in States too. So
wow.
Yeah, because he went to. I pushed him to go to Future Star Academy, a great arena that you can show yourself up. You know, so do it, have fun. You can't lose anything about it. Just go.
Yeah,
and he did, and he got some from Florida, I think, but I don't know how he's doing. I'm gonna reach out to him and check again because I just want him to have. I said, even though you might fail, you have a really good ride and like get contacts and friends, because all 90% of all the jobs I have is from hockey friends. So it's a good society, so to speak. Well,
thanks again for jumping on, and we'll be staying in touch and see where it goes.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you.